Multifamily Mindset
Podcast. Think bigger.
Let's go! We're back in studio for the Multifamily Mindset Podcast. We clap in our intros. We clap for you. And hopefully you clap back in a sexual manner.
Whoa! Or in a witty manner.
Yeah.
Like you clap back with a joke or
Yeah,
something.
like that.
We like
Boom.
that. Yeah.
Way to clap back. What are we talking about today, Jay?
Dude, today we're going to talk about raising capital. You were very good at that. So I'm really excited to dive in, talk about some specifics. We're going to dive into one very specific part of the raising capital process, and really pick your mind and pick your brain about this specific part of the process. But before we get started, tune in Monday through Saturday to the Multifamily Mindset, Monday through Friday now. I keep saying Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday with Dallas Pruitt, Friday with myself and Tyler Devereaux. Tune in, subscribe, rate, and review if you haven't yet. So let's get started. Raising
Can I give
capital.
one more actionable?
Yeah.
Hit us up, and you can hit me up in my DMs on Instagram's my best place. But hit me up in the DMs and tell me, in regards to raising capital, what would you like to learn about the most? What are you struggling with the most? What would you like us to hone in on the most? What would be most beneficial to you? If you send those, in fact, I just got one today, and so we should do an episode on this.
Yeah.
Which was about the structures, the different ways to structure multifamily real estate transactions. And I would love to go into that.
Yeah.
So hit me up on IG. Let me know what would be of value. You can, if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit up in the comments below as well. We'll siphon those out as well. So
Yes, definitely.
with that said,
Let's dive in. So raising capital, before I start grilling you with questions, we do have an episode of your vlogs on your YouTube channel about raising capital. So one more actionable is, if you haven't watched that video, go over to Ty's YouTube channel. We'll have the link in the description as well, and watch that video. It's such a powerful and valuable video. I think it's one of the best educational type videos that you've ever done. It's very, very impactful.
Dude.
It's very good. But Ty, today I wanted to talk about the specific of how do you find potential investors, and then how do you make that initial contact with them?
okay.
Right? We talk about this, and you made a list of how do you find potential investors. So let's start there. Ty, how do you find potential investors, or where do you find these potential investors?
Man, I think first is to really gear your mind in the direction of definiteness, and I'll get into details, but to determine that you're going to go find investors. But find, to me, and we use the word find because you do want to find them, but it seems like find is almost like you're searching, and you are searching, but really you have to understand they're searching for you as well. And so your job is to find the people who are searching for you. That's what I want to hone in on. Like, our job is not to go in and try to convince people. Our job is not to go in and try to, we want the low-hanging fruit is what we want. And if the more that you get the low-hanging fruit, the other fruit will also drop down. It just will.
Right. It ripens over time.
It
Totally.
is. It's a snowball effect, bro. It's a snowball effect. The more and more people that get to know and understand what you do, the more and more people will reach out and talk to you about what you do. So gear your mind in the direction of, man, every one of you, no matter whether you're underwriting, sourcing deals, or you're actually the one in charge of raising capital, everyone's job is to raise capital all the time because everyone knows people. So that's the first part. And where do you go?
It's like reframing that find. Reframing what that find means. Like, because what you just said, it almost is like find's not even the right word to use there. It's almost like attract would be a better word to use.
Which I love that word.
How do you attract potential investors? How do you put yourself in the right positions to meet investors, right? Everybody should be finding does make it seem desperate. Like finding makes it look like you're looking for a treasure. But when
attract.
In reality, they're also looking for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to understand. Like, when you think about just attract, and we're going to get into basic areas that you can go and talk to people and how you would approach people in those settings. But I want to hone in on this because you think about the word attract, right? What made you attracted to Courtney?
Her looks. Out the gate, right? Out the gate, for sure. That was the first thing that made me attracted to her. But dude, also the way she made me feel when we were together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that apply? Does looks apply to raising capital?
I believe so.
Optics
for sure
are
matter.
so important,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure matter.
And what I mean by your optics, I mean by how you carry yourself. How you, dude, are you uniquely you? That doesn't mean that you have to dress a certain way or talk a certain way. That means you have to be you, whatever you is. You're going to attract the people that are right for you.
So important. Because when you're your authentic self and when you're being you, you're going to attract the people you're supposed to do business with. Because hopefully they're being their authentic self and attracted to you as well. That's beautiful. I'm so glad you highlighted that.
Yeah.
Because it's such an important thing, for sure.
Unless your authentic self is not attractive, then you just need to grow. Right?
But having that conscious, like knowing that.
Yes.
Being aware of that, for
Dude.
sure. Yeah.
And there's different levels of that. Like as you're growing, you're going to be able to attract more and more people. So it's like just understand that.
Yeah.
But okay, who do you
real quick. And if you are at that point where you realize that you're not the type of person to attract the type of people that you need to do business with, that's a beautiful realization. Don't be hard on yourself then.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful time because you realize, okay, you like it's almost like an enlightenment. It's like you're all of a sudden conscious of who you are and who you need to become in order to attract these type of people. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Bro, that's it. So who are those people that you are looking to become and act like those people now, right? Be your future self now. So if you can literally just plan in your mind for a second, maybe this is even step one. You plan in your mind of like, okay, so if I'm going to be that person who's raising capital, who is going to be, and literally not just raising, but these individuals are trusting you with their capital. Mm-hmm. So what do you need to be? Who do you need to become to be worthy of that trust? Define it and then act like that person now. Because that's how you become that person is the actions that person will do. Act like that person now. Become that person. That's huge. And then plan a little bit. Like I want you to really sit down. We're going to go through these different areas that you can tap into, but literally plan a little bit. You should be as you're listening to this, you should be listing out these different areas that you can be getting in contact with people. If you're really conscious of it, right? Before you go into those settings, you should be like, it's almost like you turn on, but you need to have that ability to flip that switch in the moment. Like you have to have it. And that's a challenging thing because I'll tell you that it's very rare that I walk out my door and I'm like, I'm going to raise capital today. Yeah. Which is very rare.
Right.
Which means a lot of the times I don't take advantage of the opportunities that are placed right in front of my path. Because I'm going to a grocery store or I'm going to the gym and I'm going to the grocery store to get groceries. I'm going to the gym to, get swole. I'm not going there to raise capital or meet investors, which means I don't raise capital and meet investors. Even if I'm having a conversation and that's what they would love to do, I'm not even in the right mindset to do that.
Right.
So you need to gear your mind in that direction all the time.
Yeah, dude. And it's almost like just to add on to that, Ty, and ask a question. Does it get to a point where that's always on?
No, I haven't reached that point.
Okay. No. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I can flip switcher. I can flip the switch quicker.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely.
There's times where you're not too.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, dude. So let's dive into these areas.
Personal network is where most people start, and it's where I believe most people should start. These are people that they know, like, and trust you. If they're in your network, your personal network, hopefully they know, like, and trust you.
Right.
Know you, they do. If they're in your personal network, like, and trust, well, let's hope they do.
Right.
That's where we start. How do you approach people like that? The reason I believe you should start with those people is they're the people who are going to give you the most grace. They're going to give you the most grace.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
We're nervous, though. Like, how many of you are nervous to reach out to your personal network because you're nervous of how they're going to view you or they don't see you as a real estate investor? I mean, you don't see yourself as a real estate investor. It doesn't, really, it does matter how people view you, don't get me wrong, but how do you view you?
Love that.
Right? That's why your affirmations and those things are so important, is because you start to view yourself in a different light.
So Ty, how would you, when you were at that process out the gate, dude, how did you reach out to people in your personal network? What did that first message look like? Was it a text? Was it a call? Was it an email? What did it look like?
I did it wrong.
Okay.
So you're here to learn. I believe people are here to learn from failures.
Great lesson there.
See, because what I had the same fears that I just mentioned. Man, they don't know me as a real estate investor. They, maybe they don't take me seriously. So what I try to do is go in and be like, I'm gonna act this part, or I'm going to be the, well, I didn't allow vulnerability to come in. That's what I didn't allow in the very beginning. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Man, I'm, branching out in this new venture. I'm starting to partner with investors and purchase apartment buildings, and then you start to tell them what you're doing in a vulnerable, not trying to, tote yourself up, not trying to act bigger than you truly are, but really just telling them what you're doing, and then dropping little seeds and nuggets, helping them understand how they can participate. Yeah, man, it's awesome. Like these investors, this is what they get, and this is how they can participate. And I didn't even know that was possible. And then you can start asking them these same questions of, did you know, and do you know, and have you done, those kind of things.
Yeah, I love this. I love where this has gone. This is the first group of people you're reaching out to as you're starting as you're starting to raise money for the first time. And the first thing one of the first advices that you give is to be authentic and just be super transparent, super vulnerable, and just letting them know where you're at in that process.
Yeah.
What benefits come from that?
And I want to say vulnerability doesn't mean that you're not confident. You can be confident in your direction, but just vulnerable that you don't know it all.
Right.
That should kind of be with you at all points.
I love that.
And what benefits, the question was, what benefits do you gain from that?
Yeah.
They're going to ask you questions that you don't know the answers to. They're going to start asking you questions. Mm-hmm. And if you are open to recognize and understand that you don't know the answers, instead of trying to pretend like you do, well, what that will do is it'll help you understand and become aware of the things that you don't know. Because these other groups we're going to talk about, you're going to be asked similar questions, but now you will have the opportunity to go do the research, to get the answers, to talk about it in a way. It allows you to fumble a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, let me try to explain it to you. Once again, I'm kind of new, and so I partner with different operators to help take down these deals. I'm going to try to explain it to you the best way that I can. Okay, so this is how I would explain it to you and how it works. This is in your personal network. And then you can literally ask them, does that make sense? And I really want you to tell me, because I'm going to be having conversations with other people, and I'm really trying to make it as succinct as possible. Did that make sense to you, or is there questions there? I don't want you I really want role play with them, dude.
Yeah.
You're role playing with them, you're practicing with them, but you're also pitching them.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. I love that. It's such a benefit to you when you can be, because you can truly be authentic with yourself and in the moment there too. Like it helps you be so much more present, I believe.
Yeah.
Because you can be there and be honest and be what it is. On the other side of that, how does it benefit the investor when you're being like that?
Well, that's how trust is gained. That's how trust is formed. It's like, and I'll also tell you, I want you to think bigger in the whole perspective, because in your mind, a lot of the times in our minds, in that moment, we're thinking to ourselves, man, I'm not coming across polished, and you're not. And that is okay. But we're not in it for just this short-term 2-day mentality like the rest of the world. I want you to think bigger perspective. Think bigger perspective. And what I mean by that is they're going to see you fresh, and then they're going to continue to see you grow. And growth, well, that's attractive. Growth is attractive. And so as they see you grow, as they see you taking it seriously, as they see you actually implementing the things that y'all talked about here and becoming better and more versed and more knowledgeable, well, dude, that's huge for them. See,
massive amounts of trust and honesty are formed there.
Yeah.
And as an investor, Ty, what's the most important thing when you're talking with other operators placing your hard capital in these deals?
I want to know they're committed.
Yeah, and that they're committed and honest to the process, right?
That's it.
That they've explained that they're going to do with your money.
Yeah.
So valuable. So valuable.
Yeah. So the big takeaway there that I really want you to understand is to go in with vulnerability, like literally almost looking at it as practice, but understanding you're pitching everyone all the time, but it's this practice and understanding and believing in your ability to grow.
Yeah.
And the understanding when they see you here in the beginning stages and then see your growth, that is huge.
Yeah.
That growth doesn't have a time frame on it. Growth is growth.
Dude, that's so clutch, because one thing that we haven't talked about even at all is the deal.
Yeah.
This is just you being honest and you being vulnerable and you being transparent like you're saying. That's what builds the trust. And at the end of the day, investors a lot of the times are going to invest more in the person that's managing the deal or operating the deal than the deal itself.
Yeah.
The deal numbers, whatever, those work. But really the variable that can change is the operator.
Yep.
And that's so when you're doing those things and establishing that trust from from when you were just starting, trying to raise capital, trying to explain how things work, to now you've got properties and now you're actively raising capital for these properties. It doesn't even matter about the properties because you've built this massive amount of trust with that investor. They're going to invest with you.
Yeah.
Because they know you've shown them what it is that you're going to do, exactly how you're going to do it.
They know, like, and trust you.
It's just so good.
Yep.
Okay, dude, what else? That's beautiful. That's how you want to reach out to your personal network and make that initial contact. Okay, dude, some other places. Where can we find some more
real estate groups is a natural one, but I think that I'm going to take a different spin than most people would think, because we're talking about raising capital, right? But I want people to take a bigger long-term play with raising capital. If I'm going to go to a real estate group, these are people that are real estate professionals. And if I am new in the space and I'm not a real estate professional yet, or you're a real estate professional but you're not seasoned, well, I'm going to learn from these people. So I'll tell you what I did. And I did this a lot of the times in a lot of the avenues that I'm about to talk about, but I started telling people I was an accredited investor. And I was not. And I know that goes against what I just said about being your authentic self. But dude, I did. And I did that, number one, because accredited investor just means that to qualify as an accredited investor, you have to make $200,000 a year if you're single, $300,000 if you're married, or have a net worth over $1 million. And when I first started, I did not have any of those. But I wanted to understand, but I wanted to get investment opportunities like I did. But I also realized I didn't do it consciously, but what I realized when I was doing that was all of a sudden people are sending me deals and I'm hearing them talk about their deals. And as I'm hearing them talk about their deals that I would love to invest in, I just don't have the capital to at that point. I'm learning how they're doing it. And I'm seeing how they approach things. And I'm seeing that, well, I like some things, I don't like some things, I was confused by some things. And now what I can do is I can work it through my brain and now try to go and take my own spin on it from what I've learned.
Yeah.
So these real estate groups, you can go and you can build relationships with potential real estate investors, because sometimes there'll be people there who are literally, they are passive investors. That's why they're there, is to meet people that can bring them passive real estate investment opportunities. So that's great. But there's also real estate operators there that I want to go learn from. I want to see how they talk about it. I want to see how they explain things. I want to see what they study. I want to see what they do.
Yeah. Dude, this is so good. And it's so different than that initial approach that you take with your personal network. It sounds like with your personal network, you're really trying to practice and explain. You're talking a lot. But then when you get in these real estate groups and you're around other like-minded individuals, exactly, you're listening. Right? So what I heard just now when you're talking about getting this group, how do you reach out to potential investors in real estate groups? It almost sounds like just get in the rooms.
Yeah.
Get in these rooms and listen and observe these seasoned investors and these seasoned operators on how the verbiage they use, the body language that they have, everything that they do. You observe, you sit and you get in those rooms, and you have conversations and you be likable and you make great relationships with people. You be honest, you be transparent, but get in those rooms. Get in those rooms and learn through observation. I love that, man.
And then go back to your personal network.
And try those things out.
Yes.
Yeah, dude. So good. So good. Awesome. Okay, bro. Next one that I have for you, online platforms.
Yep.
How do we find potential investors via the immense amount of social media avenues that we have these days?
Yeah, so I have it broken down in online platforms and then social media, but you engage on those things, on both. Well, let's just do both those as one. LinkedIn is an example. LinkedIn, I'm going to be looking for professionals who would reach the accredited investor status that we're talking about, and then outbound outreach, like literally outbound outreach to those individuals on what they're doing. And what I want to drill home is a lot of people think that raising capital is when you're on the phone call or you're on the webinar. I actually believe truly raising capital happens in all the other minute,
yes, but it's very important stuff. I know exactly what
that's
you're saying.
Where it is. The minute conversations that you have in the beginning. I believe so. I was big into social media. I did social media marketing. That's what I did. But when I switched to real estate, I didn't focus on that. And I didn't post about what I was doing, but I was still very active on social media. So I would comment on people's stuff. I would send them DMs. I would I would engage with them on a personal level. So here on these online platforms, you can meet people, build relationships, answer questions for people that are on there. There's these forums that you can go, right? Answer questions for people, but then add them on social media and then start to engage in their posts. Start to comment on their things. Start to reshare their things. Start to send them DMs about certain, engage.
Yeah.
Engage.
Dude, it's almost just like you would in real life. If someone asks you for advice or help, you're going to help them or give them an advice, but then you're going to probably see them again and then ask them how it was. How did it go? How'd that advice go? Are you good? Or you're going to follow up with them because you had a personal connection with them and conversation with them, right? Same thing with what you're saying. Don't answer their question then ghost them forever. Answer their question and be like, hey, follow up with them later. Hey, that question help? Did my answer help?
Yeah.
And continue that relationship past just the initial comment that you made on their post.
I love it, dude. And as you're commenting, you're answering questions, people are starting to view you as... I actually made a post about this recently on the Facebook page, which was somebody was like, hey, man, why would somebody want to invest in real estate right now? Or are investors too nervous to invest in real estate right now? And, dude, I could list off a freaking onslaught of reasons people should invest right now.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is weaponize people with understanding their ability that they can do that research. And this is what this person was doing. They're trying to do the research. But what I'm telling you, if you take it to a next step and just literally go find things that support your hypothesis. The hypothesis is it's a good time to invest in real estate. Go find things that support it. You will find things that support it, and then go talk to those things.
Yeah, dude, that's so good. Don't try to disprove what other people are saying. Try to prove what it is that you're saying.
Yeah.
Try to have some content and some credibility behind what it is that you're trying to say there.
Yep.
So good.
Yep. So yeah, go engage on there, man. And then when you build those relationships and you give some advice, I liked your follow up with that, which is follow up.
Yeah.
Because then it shows that you actually really care.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not just answering it for everybody to see that you're the smart guy that can answer the question on the forum.
Yeah. Well, you're doing that too.
But I believe that's a benefit to you just answering this person's question, right?
That is going to be more of a broad impact.
Yeah.
Where what I believe is what a lot of people are trying to do is they're trying to go so broad, but they don't go deep enough.
Yeah, they miss everybody.
Yeah. If you just narrow in but go deeper.
Very good. Very good. That's a perfect way to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I'm going to hit you with another one.
Okay.
Seminars and workshops. We do a lot of those here.
Tons
That's
of
a family mindset, right? What does that look like? How do you approach people in those situations when you were first getting started to now?
There's so many ways to build the relationships there at those seminars and at those workshops. And I try to let people know anytime I go teach a workshop of hey, this is more than just you coming to learn. You need to meet and engage with people in the room, man. You got to meet and engage with people in the room. And as you do that, then more doors will be open to you than just the education side of things. Yeah. I really want people to see that as they come in. So how do you approach people there? Well, most people there are in the same seat that you're in. They're there to learn as well. And so anytime you're in this learning setting that is a new learning setting, you feel apprehension. You feel a little bit uncomfortable. You feel maybe nervous, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So if you can remove your nerves and then go help other people become comfortable, even if that makes you uncomfortable, that's what sets you apart. So get out of your own way. Instead of focusing on how uncomfortable you are, or instead of focusing on that you hope that you'll be, liked,
recognized, yeah.
Just flip it and make sure that other people there feel comfortable. Make sure that other people there know that you like them. This is what I love. I've mentioned this multiple times. It's what I love about Brittany. When I go into a setting, I am doing exactly what I just told you, where a lot of times I'm like, man, I hope that they like me in a new setting that I've never been in. That's just real. That's a normal, natural tendency.
Yep.
Brittany does not do that. Brittany literally goes in to make sure that other people there feel seen. She's the best hype man in the world, dude.
I can agree with that for sure.
Right? It's just what she does.
Yeah.
So that's how I'd approach things in a seminar type workshop setting. And you're building a friendship.
Yeah.
You're building a relationship there.
Yes. And some of the, I think that that's so good. Just want to highlight, if you're there at a seminar, chances are that those other people are in the same-ish seat as you are. So really, really fantastic relationships can be built at these things. Accountability partners that could turn into business partners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can I take it one more level?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people there that will not continue to pursue the business like you're going to pursue it. Mm-hmm. They have relationships, they have capital, they have connections, they decide that they're not going to pursue it at the level you do. So you build a relationship with people, and let's say that they don't continue to pursue, but you maintain the relationship. Well, who are they going to send those relationships, capital, connections to? You. Because you built this relationship, and they've also, remember, seen you grow now through the process. Mm-hmm. And that's impressive to them because that's something they did not do, pursue, and they did not grow from to the rate that they should. But you did. That immediately sets you apart. So with all these, I want you to think bigger than the current situation. Mm-hmm. This current situation, this current interaction, dude, that's the baby step. I want you to think bigger on all of it and understand that as you go deeper with people, it's more than just today.
Yeah.
They're going to continue to see you as long as you make sure that you're seen.
Oh, just so good. Ty, we talked, as we wrap up this episode, I want to ask one final, not final question, maybe one final topic we can dive into here. We talked about what you should do to get a positive outcome, right? To get a positive outcome with all these, like you follow up, you do all these, you follow up, you actually build a true relationship with people, you add value. What if you don't do any of these things? What if you start to do some of these things and then don't follow through starting these relationships?
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is you for example, we talked about your personal network. You have an honest conversation with somebody. You say you don't know this stuff, and they ask you a bunch of questions, and then you say, okay, well, I'm going to go figure out these questions, and I'll get back to you. What if you never get back to that person with those questions and those answers? What can that do for a relationship, like the relationship?
Well, it hurts it.
Yeah.
Once again, you think bigger than the current situation. It hurts your trust with them moving forward on anything you do. Mm-hmm. That's why if you're going to pursue something, pursue it. I think the reason I struggle to even answer the question is because if I'm going to pursue something, I'm going to pursue it.
Right.
And so if I tell somebody that I'm going to go do, if I am having a conversation with somebody and I am letting them know what I'm doing and I am taking up their time to talk about these things, well, I'm going to follow through on my end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I also know that that's actually where we talk about trust with others. That's where trust with self comes. You're going to honor these self-promises. And I actually believe that we're very good at honoring promises with other people, but we struggle with honoring promises for ourselves. So, but I don't even know how to answer that because I'm going to do it.
No, you answered it exactly how I wanted you to answer it, dude. It's exactly that. Don't commit to anything that you're not going to do.
Yeah.
Don't commit to, like, as you're having these conversations, as you're doing these things. It's why honesty is so important. It's why vulnerability is so important. It's why transparency is so important, because if you're not those things, then you're just bullshitting.
Yep.
And that can ruin a relationship in 2 seconds.
Yep. Ruin
it. And hard to rebuild it after that point as well.
And what if you don't even commit in that moment? And what I mean by this is, let's say that you're talking to these people, they don't know, they're asking you some questions, you don't know the answers. And instead of being like, man, hey, I'm going to go figure that out, just being like, oh, shoot, man, I'm actually not quite sure. I'm going to have to go look that up. Not saying, hey, I will get back to you.
Right.
But then actually getting back to them. Hey, man, I wanted to let you know, thanks so much for asking me those questions. It made me go deeper into XYZ.
Yeah.
Studied this, and once again, I don't know if you really wanted the answers or not, but
I wanted to let you know.
Wanted to share this with you and share them what you learned, right?
Yeah. So awesome. So do those things. Don't half-ass it with any of these suggestions that Ty's given, because as powerful as they can be, as detrimental as they can be as well, if you only do them halfway. I've seen that. I've just seen that happen time and time again as well. So Ty, as we wrap up here,
Can I say one more?
Yeah.
Because all your team members that you're building, one of the things that I say is that one of the biggest mistakes new investors make is they don't build their teams up. Even in the market, your real estate brokers, your lenders, build relationships with them, because all of them have connections, relationships, and connecting you two together is a way for them to build relationship equity. So build those relationships with your team members. Talk to them about what you're doing, raising capital all the time. Ask them for connections as well. And then, man, follow through and be a good steward of the relationship, right? So there's so many ways, man. Like finding investors, posting content on social media, engaging with other people's content on social media. Like all those things are so great. There's so many ways to find and meet people who are interested in investing in real estate. Your job, step one, is to put yourself in the room and be dedicated to having those conversations as much as possible. Talk about what you do always. Talk about what you do always. And the more you talk about what you do, the better you're going to be at talking about what you do.
So I was going to ask you one final question, but I think you just answered it. The final question being, what is like the most important thing that you can do in all of these settings? And it is what you just said. Just always be talking about what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Talk about what you do, man. And in the beginning, I think that is the hardest for people because they're wanting to do it. They're just not sure if they can do it. But guess how you do it? By just freaking dedicating yourself to doing it. Mm-hmm. Imagine, well, let me tell you how I went to school. I went to school not really thinking, to college, not really sure if I was going to actually go through with it. Right. Not sure if I really was going to make it the whole way. Not sure if I was and I didn't, not even remotely. I didn't even make it through a full semester. Uh-huh. Semester?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
One of those things.
Yeah, half a year.
What's a quarter?
Quarter is a quarter of a year.
What's like, how many semesters in a year?
2.
School year.
2.
You just have 2 semesters? Uh-huh. I didn't make it through any of them.
Nice. Me either.
Obviously. But I, in the back of my mind, I really didn't think that I would.
Yeah.
So if you can just dedicate yourself to the fact that you are capable of this business, you just got to gear your mind in the direction that you are and that you will, period. Then go have conversations and quit wondering or quit worrying of what if I don't understand. By having the conversations with definiteness, you will. All right.
Yeah, dude, so good. Ty, we don't have a Hawaiian value prepared. Do you have one off the top of your head that you would like to share as we wrap up here?
One of my favorites, dude, is Po'okela. I don't know why this one comes to mind right now, but Po'okela is just strive for excellence. And that's really what excellence is. Being excellent is bringing your best in every situation.
Love that. Right?
Being definiteness with your aim of what you're looking to do. So, like with the kids, PAX, we went to Marley's soccer game. And they didn't have enough players to play, and so they asked Pax if he would sub in and play. And I was like, "Oh, buddy, you need sub in and play?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll take it easy on him." And I was like, "Well, no, they need you to sub in and play." And I said, "Everything we do our best." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, go play your best. Go do your best work, whatever that is."
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to apologize for being your best in the given situation.
Yeah.
Be your best. That is energizing. So Po'okela, strive for excellence.
That's so good. So good. I don't have anything to add, dude. I love that.
Sweet. Hey, y'all. Hope you gained some value. We're going to start going through a raising capital framework where we get nitty gritty on these items and we actually help. So I really want to know, I've built out the framework, but I want to know, is there certain aspects that you're struggling with? Once again, I'll tie this in, that you would like to see more information on, that you would like to get more guidance on. That's what we love to talk about, man, mm-hmm. is that stuff.
Yes.
And Jackson is very good at pulling that out of me. And dude, Jackson's been around from the get, man. Jackson's raised more capital lately than I have.
I don't know about that.
No, it's true because we have different roles, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
I send him down and you freaking wrap it up like he's good at it. And so we love to talk about those things. So if there is something that you're struggling with, something that you're stumbling on, something you need some workarounds, the more specific you get, the more specific we can get. So send those over, comment on YouTube, send me a DM on Instagram, and then regardless, man, live always with aloha. Peace. Multifamily Mindset Podcast. Think bigger.